Hello, neighbors. This is Daniel.
This is Katie.
Welcome back to the Future Neighbor
Podcast.
Woohoo! We have a lot of fun topics to talk about. We had a very action-packed week plus weekend.
Yeah.
But first, before we forget, this episode is brought to you by
Gochujar.
And Gochujar offers Korea's best artisanal food products. Plus, if you have any gifts that you need to give for people who love Korean culture or your Korean parents or your Korean family members, go to Gochujar. So first off, I want to give a big to the film Minari.
Yay!
Minari has won 6 Oscars. Or I'm sorry,
Nominations.
in my mind has won, but it's the same, I guess.
Yeah, you need
in my
to be
mind.
correct.
They were nominated for 6 Oscars. Best Director, so Isaac Chung.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know, one thing I discovered about him is that actually him and Steve Yoon, they're like connected. Even before. So Steve Yoon's wife is a cousin of Isaac Chung. Is it Chung? Isaac Lee, the director of Minari. Yeah, that's how they're connected. So that's, I think, initially what kind of got the actor on board with the film.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
Then, like you said, Steven Yoon.
Steve Yeun, yeah.
Steve Yeun, yeah.
Yeah, but in English, it's something else. But I think it's Yeun, not Yoon.
Okay. Steven Yeun. Give him a Best Actor, nominated for Best Actor. Awesome. Love to see that a Korean face is getting nominated for an Academy Award. I've never seen that in my life. Awesome. And then we have the familiar, the grandma, the elderly actress. Her name is what in Korean?
Yoon
Yoon. And you've seen her in a lot of Korean shows.
Yeah. Right now, she's airing on the Yoon's Day, which is aired on Netflix too, I think. And then previously, I've seen her like Yoon's Kitchen episode filmed in like Spain, Bali.
She has such a very calming aura around her. She has a very positive energy.
She does.
What's that other kind of elderly actress? The one that's always like, yeah, you know, monoshiki. Like the one that did the cooking show as well. The one right after Baek Jong-won, there was another show where she led all the cooking.
Yeah, it's Sumi, but I can't remember her surname. Something Sumi.
And she's always in those like comedic roles, right?
Yeah, her show is called, I think, Sumin의 반찬.
Oh, Sumin의 반찬.
Yeah.
Whereas she has a much more
completely different character.
Persona.
Yeah. Yoon Ya-jung, she's having like her most prime time in almost like late stage of her life.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
That's amazing. I mean, even I think she's 76 years old, but
is she?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's amazing that she's like hitting her like or getting recognition from all around the world through an art piece of a movie like this now, right?
She would never have expected this, right? In her younger days.
Good for her. She can smell the flowers and all types of flowers while she lives.
Yeah.
So 2 other things, Best Original Screenplay and then also Best Original Score. Yeah. So very, very cool.
Yeah. We actually went to the cinema to watch the film last week.
So how was it going to the cinema for the first time in a very long while for us? We were kind of iffy about it, but we decided to go. Right?
It felt like such a long time ago experience.
Yeah. I really liked it. And as soon as I went into it, I was like, oh, nothing beats the cinema experience. And I don't think...
the size of the screen.
It was huge.
Like the depth of the sound and like the level of concentration.
That's what's important. When you're at home watching Netflix, you can quickly look at your phone, like a light goes off or something goes off and you get distracted. Someone's cooking in the kitchen, you'll look over. But when you have such a big screen in front of you for 2-3 hours, you're in the movie with that surround sound. So I really appreciated that. The movie theater was pretty empty. They weren't serving any food.
Yeah, no popcorn.
They had that shike combo, which, the Korean rice punch drink plus popcorn. And I looked at the ad and I was like, man, I would really love to eat that while watching. But yeah, they banned food. So it was just.
We had the mask on the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't really mind that. After watching the trailer, I think I mentioned that I think I was going to cry watching this movie.
I was checking on you the whole time if you were crying.
Yeah, for me, I didn't. Well, to say it quickly up front, I didn't cry. I had one or few moments where I could feel that big gulp in my throat, like.
Yeah.
Oh, I felt really like it touched me. The movie itself, for me, I'll give you my review, and then Katie, you can also give yours afterwards, or you can jump in whenever. But for me, I ended up thinking it was a very beautiful film, and it was shown in a way that could be digestible for anyone, for even people who didn't have this immigrant experience in America. Like there are elements of it which are touching, which is a very familial, like FMIELIAL, familial sort of feel towards the movie.
Yeah.
That was very warming. And there was a flow to it that moved the movie forward. It didn't stay in one area of the immigrant experience for too long, right? There was a fluidity to the story, which I think keeps your attention going. So at the end of it, I walked away thinking, man, this was a beautiful film. But I did have when I was in the beginning parts of the film.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give
spoiler.
any. Yeah, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I was kind of like, this is so different from my. Well, they're very similar experiences, but it felt a little rosy to me. Because first of all, the setting was in a farmland. I was in the city. The story seemed to move through some of the beginning parts of setting up in a place like, I forget what state it was, but it seemed to move so quickly. Whereas I remember a lot of friction, even in those beginning points. And I was like, I hope it doesn't just skim, or the plot doesn't move on at just this kind of very rosy level. But just like any movie, it hit its, like the sad points. The protagonist gets faced with challenges, and I guess that's what a movie should be. It can't stay in high tension for too long, or else the audience gets too stressed out. So what I was telling Katie was like, yeah, I think this is great, but I was telling Katie, I need to make a Minari 2. Or like my ambition would be to make a Minari 2. And what I would want to combine is a little bit more of the city element, a little bit more rawness. So
different setting.
Different setting. And I want a little bit more pain.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a movie called Moonlight, which I really like.
Ooh. Don't think I watched the film, but it does sound familiar.
I really liked Moonlight a lot. And I like the way it was shot. It was very serious. It's about a black guy
trailer
who is gay, but it shows him when he's young, and it shows him when he's in his later in life as well. There's not that much of a point, but it shows the interactions he's had when he was young.
Yeah.
And he was trying to find who he was, and then he finds like this more fatherly figure who wasn't his dad, that kind of shows him what it feels like to be a man and what it means to be a man, and kind of this beautiful scene when they're at the beach and he's trying to teach this kid stuff. And then it shows him later on in life where the city, the realities of the city actually changes him to be kind of like this, Hyundai, I forget it. I don't think he was a drug dealer, or maybe he was, but he's like very like thugged out, but he still has this sensitive point, and it's just so raw, but set in a very beautiful way. And I was thinking, could we not combine? I would like, if there was a Minari 2, what I would like for me, if I was to tell my story, I would like to combine the rawness of Moonlight with the beauty and the tenderness of Minari. Maybe I'm asking for too much. But all in all, I liked it, and I would recommend people who haven't seen it to go check it out.
Yeah, because I was also wondering whether like the Korean people would find like the plot relevant or interesting. That was like a one point that was on my mind. I think while watching the film, first of all, I think the grandmother, Yoon Ye-jung, she was like the pinnacle of the film.
Oh, she did such a great job.
Yeah. And then like just watching her made me think of my own grandma so much. And I looking back at my childhood with my grandmother, because that's like something that you can all relate to regardless of your culture or nationality. And then, you know, my grandmother passed away last year, actually during COVID, but it's not because of COVID. It was due to like other complications. But like, really, it really made me think of her a lot while watching that film. So kind of made my heart really warm and also like sad.
Yeah. I had the same thing when I was seeing scenes of it. It reminded me of my mom and my dad fighting. First of all, Steven Yeun, like
Yeon.
I'm gonna call him Yoon because I know I'm gonna keep calling him Steven Yeun. Whatever. Steven Yeun. He his Korean has improved so much.
Yeah.
And kudos to him for trying and training really hard to improve his Korean.
Because I know his Korean isn't good. Because I've seen him on Korean shows, like doing interviews.
Yeah.
He couldn't really like complete sentence in Korean.
Yeah. But
he was, most of the acting is actually done in Korean. So he must have done a lot of practice.
Outside of his comfort zone. And kudos to him.
Yeah, definitely.
I think in my previous podcast, when I was talking about what I expected, I was like, I don't think Steven Yeun. I wish it was someone else. Because like, you know, I don't think his face is that fatherly figure. He looked a little bit too young.
Was like but he perfectly into that role.
But he pulled it off. So again, another big kudos to Steven. And hit that acting scene when they fight and they're outside of that Korean mart. And you know, when Korean couples fight, it's like, it's not that over the top, but it's just.
What do you mean not over the top?
I mean, it's a little bit different than like Hollywood drama fighting scenes. Like, oh hell no! Like, I hate you. I like, you know what I mean? Like, they pulled it off really well. Even like when he didn't know what to say, so he's swallowing a spit, and you can see his throat going up and down, and him looking around because he can't look his wife in the eye, and just looking. That was raw, and I was like, damn, kudos to him, because the acting worked so well that even I was gulping in my throat because I could feel the conflict of interest in that scene.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we can't spend an hour talking about a film that most people haven't seen yet, because I'm sure they haven't gone to the movie theaters because of COVID. So I'll leave it there. Anything else that you want to add?
I just think all the actors did a great job. Also, the main actress Haneri, I thought she was the perfect role, and she did great acting. Actually, I know her. I know her, but I just never
call
really.
Her up right now?
No. But I don't think I watched any like drama that has in her. So it was really like interesting, and she did a great acting too. So
yeah. I ended up calling my mom afterwards and kind of was like, I'm nostalgic about all those hard times that we had in the States. My mom was like, do you remember specific moments? And we talked for like 30 minutes about some like kind of painful moments, but now we can a little bit laugh about because of how ridiculous they were at the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to open all that up now, but so it was good. Very good.
Good.
Besides the movie, we also checked out this weekend. There's a new department store in Korea called the Hyundai, which is
Hyundai Seoul.
Yeah, which is based in Yeouido, the financial district, and I think Korea's. It's not its biggest, right?
It's Seoul's biggest.
It's Seoul's biggest department store.
Yeah, it's not the biggest in Korea.
I see.
Because there are other bigger ones just on the outside Seoul.
Yeah, but they did a fantastic job in the interior design and the overall visitor's experience. I was so amazed because we walked in from the subway, so basement level 2 or 1.
1.
Yeah, basement level 1. And the way that they had structured up the shops, normally when you walk into a mall, a lot of stores, they have their own brick and mortar like sections. It's sectioned off by 4 walls, and when you're walking out of one into another.
Yeah.
They had made it into like a open space, pretty similar to a maze, where you don't know where one shop ends and where one shop starts.
Yeah.
You know it by the music, it changes.
Yeah, that was so cool too.
And then of course the lighting and then the interior design. So it's an open space, kind of like a bazaar, may I say?
Yeah, like a market maybe.
Yeah, and none of the shops look the same.
Yeah, that
all
was really
custom interior
interesting.
designing, and so it was
so
fun.
fluid. So at first I felt so overwhelmed because I didn't know where to start.
I know, you should have seen yourself, Kate. You're like, here, let's go here. Here. Ho. My idea of a great weekend isn't necessarily going to a mall for me, but going there, me too. I was like a little kid because I was so amazed by, I was thinking whoever designed this put a lot of thought into customer experience, and I couldn't help but that they executed flawlessly. So whoever the team was in designing the Hyundai Seoul, props to that team. The food court, it shouldn't be called food court. It's like more of a food floor.
Yeah.
They
entire
floor. They have those food trucks.
Yeah.
Dispersed into other stores. They have bakeries mixed in, and they basically have cataloged Korea's trendiest shops. Like we call them matchips in Korea. And again, whoever the team was that was responsible for 입점ing or
picking the
stores that could enter. It's not the same like big boy franchises. It's all like indie. They killed it.
Yeah, they're like
they killed it.
Top of the top, like most trending like restaurants across Seoul. They're all in one place.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, I mean, the person who's lazy, who doesn't know or who wouldn't do it, is like just to pick out the most expensive, like, Michelin. Let's see that. No. They did a job in like picking out regular restaurants that just serve amazing food.
Yeah. It was so difficult to pick a place to eat.
I know.
We did like 3 rotations. And then we finally settled down on this one Thai place. Which turned out to be like really hot place in Apgujeong.
I see.
Like apparently you have to queue to eat there in Apgujeong, but over there we got really lucky with the timing.
Katie went with that, so
yeah, I went for Tom Yam Goong.
With the rice noodles.
Yeah, it was so good.
And then right next door, I was about to join Katie in line, but then I saw Tennessee fried chicken. Oh my gosh, so good! I think it's called Le Freak or
Yeah, something freak. Le Freak.
But they're bringing like Nashville style spicy fried chicken. I've never been. I lived in Tennessee for 1 year when we first immigrated to the U.S. But of course, I was too young then to go check out any of the food. But Nashville style spicy chicken is quite popular in the U.S. and they brought that recipe over and they executing it so well with that coleslaw. Oh man, I'm still thinking about that.
And good. So their original restaurant is also in Seongsu-dong.
But I bet that's a huge line. And they didn't put the sweet pickles. So in Korea, a lot of times if you go to burger places, they always use sweet pickles. For this one, they used the normal U.S. style dill pickles, sliced pickles, which was nice. Hopefully we're not getting you too hungry with thinking about it. Talking about food, let's give a little update about our diet challenge.
Oh, I'm failing. It's extremely difficult to lose weight, especially in a short span of time. Like every night I'm just like in so much torture because I'm so hungry.
Yeah, it's been It's been tough, but I think last time I was on the mic, I said I gained 1 kilo, but my hypothesis was correct. I think it was my body adjusting to the drop in food intake.
Yeah.
And now I'm down 1 kilo. I am the lowest weight I've ever been in the last 15 years, maybe 20 years. What did I say I was? I was around 66 kilos, right?
Yeah.
66.7 or something. That's around like 147, 148. I have never been under 150. So I'm pretty happy. Really happy. But it's tough.
It's really tough because I feel like I'm not eating much. But for me, it's so strangely, my weight is not going down. And then on the day we went to that shopping mall, the Hyundai Seoul, we deliberately decided to take a public transport so we can walk.
Yeah, that's right.
And then like kind of lose off all the weight.
Or walk off the lunch.
Yeah.
And burn some calories, right?
It took us like an hour to get there.
Yeah, but we got to see Cyclops on the train.
People are gonna be like, what are you talking about?
I miss public transportation and just looking at people. I used to enjoy that, and I'm reminded of how much I like doing that. There was this harabaji, old grandpa, on the subway, and he had this, I'm telling you, he had this sunglass, but it was kind of like a closed visor, you know, like in X-Men, what Cyclops has on top of his eyes, so he doesn't go ring and chop the train in half.
It's like a VR glasses.
I don't know what it was, but he looked crazy with them on, and I was like, I wonder what it is.
And then he was dozing off with those on.
So I kind of nudged Katie, and I was like, Katie, I didn't know X-Men was, or I didn't know Cyclops was Korean. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, look over there. And I was like, if he takes those off, you know, this train might split in half with those laser eyes. And then like 30 seconds later, I was like, oh man, what if he's blind? I'd feel so terrible. But as soon as we got to the train station, he like kind of pulled up the little sunglasses or whatever that was. And then he looked around and it looked like he was just sleeping. So I think it was one of those like massagers for your eyes or something.
Is it?
I think so.
No.
But the shape of
it's just
it.
fashion.
No, but he's too old to be wearing like fashion forward sunglasses like that. That thing was like literally an object from X-Men. It looked exactly like that.
You know, there's like an entire market selling that kind of vintage items in Dongmyo. He probably got it there.
Yeah. Oh, that totally threw me off. It just reminded me. What were we talking about before Cyclops?
Oh, losing weight.
Oh, right.
How difficult it is. Yeah, even that on that day, as soon as I came home, I went to see my weight again. I didn't change at all.
Well, stick with it. No, you weigh a lot less, so it's a lot harder for skinnier people to lose weight, and it's much easier for who are bigger to lose weight. So
yeah,
stick with it, Katie. We have one more week until our 3-week goal.
이연복 식당. 이연복 식당. 이연복 식당. 이연복 식당.
Should I explain that, or are you gonna explain that?
You explain.
So I opened up my Facebook app randomly. I was on our future neighbor page, and then it was suggesting the Facebook page for a celebrity chef in Korea named Lee Yong-bok. And he specializes in Chinese Korean food, so like jampong, jjajangmyeon, and like
he's big. He's on like TV shows all the time.
He's just as big as Baek Jong-won. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I didn't know Yong-bok has a Facebook page. I just clicked on his profile and was scrolling down. In one post, he has Kendrick Lamar's "Be Humble" like video. And I didn't read the Korean. I didn't read the caption, what he wrote for the description, but it's so random for him to be bumping Kendrick Lamar. I mean, it's like an old chef. He's like in his 50s, late 50s or 60s.
Maybe 60s.
Early 60s, yeah. And then I pressed the clip and it was, Kendrick Lamar's
Keep saying
be humble, sit down. Oh no. So I was like, sorry, that was a terrible excerpt of me trying to rap be humble. But so I read the explanation of why he put it up. And apparently a fan of his was listening to Kendrick Lamar's Humble.
Be humble, sit down.
Be humble, sit down. He was listening to that lyrics, and in his Korean ears, it sounded like 이용복, 식당, 이용복, 식당, which means
식당 is a restaurant.
Yeah, so
in Korean.
He thought that Kendrick Lamar's was like referencing 이용복.
Shout out to 이용복.
Restaurant, 이용복, restaurant. And I was like, I didn't get it at first. And I had to listen again. And I listened to it third time. And then at the third time, I could hear, be humble, sit down, 식당. And I was like, this is the most Korean thing ever. And I couldn't help. I like bursted out laughing because it was so cheesy. But I don't know. To him, it was entertaining. And then it made me like crack up so much.
There's several other ones like that are famous. Like one of the more famous ones are like, the French thank you in French is Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, yeah.
Yeah, but in Korean, it's people say like 멸치 볶음. In Korean ears, it sounds very similar to 멸치 볶음, which is, what is 멸치 볶음? Merci beaucoup, 멸치 볶음.
That's stir-fried anchovy. One of our popular panchan recipes we actually have on Future Neighbor.
My mom said when she was learning French in her high school, that's how she learned it.
멸치 볶음?
Yeah. So even to this day, she says, 멸치 볶음.
Oh, it does sound similar. Like 멸치, merci beaucoup.
Yeah.
이용복, 식당. So actually, that chef has ruined that song for me now. Every time I hear Humble, I just...
There's a few other ones too.
Keep going. I like this cheesy humor. It's right up my alley.
But I don't know if I can say this one.
Why?
So this one is Chinese. And, in China, there's this phrase in Chinese. 吃饭了吗? I learned a little bit of Chinese, by the way.
Okay, I can already know what that says. That's what we call 쌍욕.
No.
시팔로마?
Yeah.
You might as well curse in Korean.
Yeah, but that's like really famous one, I guess.
What is
that? Means did you eat? Because 吃饭了吗? Yeah, did you eat? Did you eat rice? Did you eat? Did you have food?
Really?
Yeah.
시발로마?
Yeah.
시팔로마?
Yeah.
시발로마?
Yeah.
I bet Chinese people like it.
Because chu is eat. Fan is, I think, rice. Lema is like a question. So did you eat rice?
Oh, interesting.
I did.
시발로마.
I did a summer school in China long time ago.
Where? Beijing?
Yeah, Beijing. I learned Chinese for like a year at uni.
Well,
so during the summer break, I went to this Chinese university to do like a summer school.
What's the one thing you always say to me? Like you just randomly say to me, 爸小妈. Or what do you say to me? You say something to me. I forget.
I say something?
Yeah.
Oh, 为什么?
为什么? Where's your mama?
为什么?
Why do you always say that? You never explain. I always say, what are you talking about? What? 为什么? What does that mean?
为什么 is like...
Where's your ma?
No, you confuse me now. 为什么 is like, why? In Chinese. I don't know. It's just very like easy to say. And then like you get annoyed by it. So I like to annoy you.
I see. By the way, sometimes when you make fun of me on the air, people like take it for heart. Remember that person that you told me was like, remember when we posted like a quick few stories on Instagram story when we're at the Hyundai Seoul and they're like, oh, did Daniel have a nervous breakdown being at the mall because we know he doesn't like to spend? or something along the lines you said?
You became famous for that now.
Guys, please take what I say with a slight grain of salt. Okay?
Yeah.
People must think I'm the biggest Scrooge, but I'm not.
He bought me a perfume on that day. So
Now it seems like this is the first gift I bought you. By the way, perfumes are pretty expensive. When did the cost go up that much? It's really expensive. Yeah, I didn't know perfumes were that expensive. My gosh. Related along to that, Katie, we've been taking these. So on Mondays and Wednesdays we go climbing, and then we said on Tuesdays and Thursdays let's take a walk around our neighborhood, about a mile walk to like burn off calories so we can lose some weight. But it's been going good, and along those talks it's been fun kind of talking about some random topics. And one of the topics that I still remember was you asked me, if we became like multimillionaires, what would you like to buy, or what would you buy?
Or what would you like to spend your money on?
Yeah, and you ruled out like big stuff like houses, or I came up with an answer. At first, my initial answer to you was that the reason I remember the question is that I was actually shocked by my answer, which was, I don't really have
a desire to spend.
No. I really don't have like anything specific that
you want to buy or you are in need of.
Yeah, or like I'm not into cars.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing.
I'm not into watches. I'm not really into clothes. And I really was struggling to come up with anything because I wanted to answer your question. Now I know what it is.
What is it?
It's the ability to go into any restaurant and order anything on the menu without looking at it, or without feeling like this is expensive. Do you know what I mean? Like
be humble.
식당. Right now, if I go into a restaurant, we can afford pretty much any meal at any restaurant in Korea, right? Like one time or like a rare, just go in and, hey, this is a special day or something.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like just to go anytime. Like we'll go to a sushi place in Seoul.
Okasami? Omakase.
Yeah, like maybe omakase, and just order whatever. Drinks, whatever. I don't even have to look at the price. That's what I would like. The ability to just enjoy foods, or like without having to look or be concerned about price. That's a big difference. Like it doesn't affect you. I want to get to that point. That would be nice. That's where I would like to not necessarily spend my money, but have the luxury of not worrying about money.
Yeah.
That's what I would want. And then I asked you, Katie, how about you? And the list went on for 2 hours.
No.
I'm just kidding.
So for me, I think it's like kind of similar, but I was thinking really hard about it, and I realized that I actually want to spend time to really like invest into home decor and interior. Pick my own, how do you call it, for the paint, the walls?
Wallpaper?
Yeah, wallpaper, and just like invest into decorating without worrying about the money.
So you want to get like
a really nice table in the living room, and then like I kind of want to, right now I want to turn it into more like a cafe, like those Starbucks, like a coffee table, that kind of like, and really nice light. Yeah. So we are spending more and more time in our house.
I think so. I think because of COVID, that like need to personalize your home space and make it like more practical for you is becoming like a bigger need.
And I've really made my kind of like desk. I've really like invested into like my desk setup. To the point that now I don't want to go to a cafe. I really like working at home now.
I don't. I really like being outside. Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to keep grinding. Be humble.
Sit down.
Another first for me this week was I went to a barbershop in Korea. So in Korea, there's of course the regular 미용실 or like hairstylist places. But the place that I go to, the owner, he's a little bit
부담스러워?
yeah, 부담스러워 because
How do you say that in English?
yeah, overbearing.
Oh, yeah.
Because like one time, right now he's struggling through COVID, and I gave him a little bit of like my personal advice or a little bit of kind of perspective on a few stuff for him. But then now every time I go to get a haircut, he always goes like, "Oh, hey, that was like the greatest advice, man. Like, thanks so much. And like at first I kind of accepted it, but the second time he kept talking about it, and the third time he kept about saying the same thing. So like I felt like kind of in a weird position where it's like, yo, that it wasn't that great of advice, but I'm like thinking now, is he trying to like make me feel more special so I could keep coming back or something? But I want to just talk about regular stuff, because you know when someone keeps thanking you, you feel uncomfortable. Yeah. At one time he was like, "Hey, like I really like you, and I want to give you I want to change up your hair for free. Like I'll give you a
for free."
Yeah, he said 파마를 무료로 주겠다고. Like I'll give you a perm for free. Like and perm is like $60-$70 in Korea, right? And I was like, "No, I don't want to do perm because I've done it a long time ago, and like I'm trying to get my hair back to my old
broccoli
styles."
hair?
Well, yeah, when I first did the palm, it looked like a broccoli walking out of a store. Broccoli with legs.
No, but now I miss that hair. Can we please go back?
So long story short, I wanted to find someone else, and I went to the barbershop. I was a little bit intimidated by the price. They were charging $35 for a haircut for guys. That's the base. And if you go with that's like the entry level barber, and then there's another guy with more experience. He had a different title. I think he was called the creative head, or I don't know what it was, but then he was like $55. And then I think the big guy, he was the art director, and he was charging $75 a haircut.
Wow.
For guys. This is not for women. Yeah.
For a guy, that's really expensive.
Yeah, that's really expensive. We're talking about
I
one
wonder
haircut.
who gets their haircut from that.
From the art director?
Yeah.
Well, certainly not me. But I was really happy with it. I wanted to just check it out. And you said, hey, just go get it done. And if you don't like it, your curiosity about the barbershop will be gone if you don't like it.
Yeah.
So it was like, have you guys watched the movie like The Kingsman?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like talking to an audience where you're right in front of me, like as if someone was there. I'm like losing my mind. But yeah, a lot of the barbershop have these kind of unique interiors. And it's kind of set up like the Kingsman style, where they have like 3 or 4 seats, and they take one person per hour, or each designer sets 1 hour for each person.
So premium.
Yeah, and he did a really good job with my hair. I'm like the most satisfied ever in my 11 years here with my haircut.
Yeah, when you came home, I was like, wow, this is like a style I never seen you with. And like, I don't know how you say it, but you had a really nice like sharp edge cut on your side.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a knife went through it.
And the guy was also telling me they don't take women there. I thought that was kind of refreshing. Because there's a lot of places in Korea that are like catered specifically to women.
Yeah.
But this was like a barbershop was like the first place that I saw that they don't take women. And I was just like, whoa, that's interesting. I guess if you charge $75 per haircut, that gives you enough margin to just take men only. When they did my hair, the guy asked me if I wanted a scratch. And I didn't know what a scratch was, but it's like a line.
It's only for Korean celebrities.
Oh. Are you just joking around, or seriously what that scratch is about?
Joking. No, it just sounds really fancy, so I feel like it's something that the fashionistas do.
I got confused because he was like, do you want a scratch? And I was like, Oh, I'm fine. I thought he was asking me if I wanted to scratch my hair. I was like, that's an odd question to ask.
Or I'm kind of imagining, is this something like, where those like K-pop idols like kind of write lettering on their hair?
It's basically a line that parts your left or your right of your hair.
Yeah.
And then they just grab a buzzer and then make the line a little bit more pronounced. So it looks very clean cut. All right, Katie's breaking down.
Excuse me. Oh, there's something that I want to talk about amongst the things we talk about this week.
Which is?
So we were talking about when do we feel like most loved from each other.
Oh, when do we? Huh. Oh, yeah. I remember we were talking about that. I don't remember my answer.
You don't? Do you remember my answer?
Oh,
my answer.
Yeah. But you were half joking, so
I'm not joking. It's really
I'll ask
true.
you then, Katie. When do you feel most loved?
I feel the most loved when you wake up before me, and then you leave the room as quietly as you can. And then not open the curtain and just close the door. This is real because this means that you're really respectful of my time sleeping and you don't want to wake me up. And then I really appreciate that understanding. So I feel the most loved. And the bonus would be if you make a cup of coffee and bring it to my bedside table. What do you think about that?
Well, the first part is easy because I think it requires more effort to open the doors and let the sunshine in. So, I think that's pretty easy, Katie. And out of all the things that I've done for you, the easiest way was simply for me to wake up quietly.
Because that's like the most like effortless thing you can do, and like it can have the biggest impact on me.
Wow, that's great. I hope it stays that way because it's really simple for me to fulfill every morning. All I have to do is tiptoe and not knock over anything, which is usually what happens 99.9% of the time. So I don't know if you're being serious.
No, for me, it's really about those little like attitudes that make me feel loved. Nothing more.
I beg to differ. On special days.
What is it?
No, you like to receive gifts.
I do.
Let's add that to the list of requirements. What I was going to say was like on Valentine's then what I can do is I'll skip the gifts and I'll quietly tiptoe out of the room so that you feel so loved and then pour you a nice cup of coffee and that's it.
No.
Yeah. So
it was White Day last week. So
what you probably are saying is that an act of small love is
small gifts and act of service.
All right, I don't know.
Is that how you say it? No, it is a valid
love language.
Yeah,
we talked about this in our previous podcast.
What about you?
When do I feel most loved?
Yeah.
Touch.
Oh, so easy.
I know. I'm a simple person. That's it. I just touch. That's it. I mean, there's not much more to say. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, like if I receive gifts, the response that I'm giving you now, like, oh, thanks. It's great. This is great. Awesome. I thanks. That was so thoughtful. That's usually like the extent of it. But then if you touch or touch again, chemicals run down the brain. I like the physical sensation of touch. I'm a very simple Neanderthal. I'll just keep it like that. So neighbors, I think that's it for today.
Our podcast today was so random.
Yeah, we went back and forth. It's good. And we all wish you a very good week. If you haven't got the vaccinations yet, go ahead and go sign up for it. Get it done so you can meet us in Korea. Come quicker and we can all hopefully bump heads randomly in the subway.
Yeah, totally.
We're at the mall.
Okay, thank you for listening.
See you guys. Much love.